We may have just witnessed some of the strongest auroras in 500 years. We'll be studying this event for years. This month's ramped-up auroras may have been even more remarkable than we thought. The auroral displays that wowed observers around the world 2 weekends ago, including folks as far south as Florida in the US and Ladakh in northern India, may have been among the strongest such light shows since record-keeping began. With reports of auroras visible to as low as 26 degrees magnetic latitude, this recent storm may compete with some of the lowest latitude aurora sightings on record over the past 5 centuries. Though scientists are still assessing this ranking, NASA officials said in a statement, "It's a little hard to gauge storms over time because our technology is always changing." Dolores Knipp, a research professor at the University of Colorado Boulder who focuses on space weather, added in the same statement, "Aurora visibility is not the perfect measure, but it geomagnetic storm unleashed by our hyperactive sun a few days prior, the strongest to hit our planet since Halloween of 2003. Between May 3rd and May 9th, NASA's Solar Dynamics Observatory cataloged 82 notable solar flares spawning from 2 active allows us to compare over centuries. The northern and southern lights are usually a spectacle only in high-latitude areas such as the Arctic and northern Canada. But the vivid colors migrated toward the equator on May 10th because of a rare G5 regions on the Sun, 3363 and 3364. These clusters of sunspots grew so complex that they erupted repeatedly during the week. Starting on May 7th, at least 7 coronal mass ejections, or CMEs, charged toward Earth and began storming our planet on May. This storm was so intense that the U.S. National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, which forecasts solar storms and their impact on our planet, issued a storm warning for the first time in nearly 2 decades. The warning prompted NASA to preemptively put at least one of its satellites, ICESAT-2, into safe mode. Certain instruments onboard other missions were also powered down, the space agency noted in the statement. To better understand the full extent of the event, scientists. This storm was so intense that the U.S. National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, which forecasts solar storms and their impact on our planet, issued a storm warning for the first time in nearly 2 decades. The warning prompted NASA to preemptively put at least one of its satellites, ICESAT-2, into safe mode. Certain instruments onboard other missions were also powered down, the space agency noted in the statement. To better understand the full extent of the event, scientists are also studying reports submitted by citizen scientists to the NASA-funded effort known as Aurorasaurus, which tracks auroras around the world. Aurora-related tweets and reports are aggregated into a map and verified with the help of citizen scientists, according to the website. Each verified report then becomes a data point for scientists to study and potentially incorporate into space weather models. "We'll be studying this event for years," said Teresa Nieves Chinchilla, acting director of NASA's Moon to Mars Space Weather Analysis Office. "It will help us test the limits of our models and understanding of solar storms. The purple and green glow of the northern lights in a dark night sky, the view of the northern lights." Director of NASA's Moon to Mars Space Weather Analysis Office. "It will help us test the limits of our models and understanding of solar storms." The cluster of sunspots that sparked the historic dazzling display of lights has rotated out of our view, thanks to the sun's spin. However, scientists say it is now coming into view of Mars, which has already begun witnessing the impacts of AR-3664's strongest flare yet, which was fired off last Tuesday, May 14th, scientists say. "We're already starting to capture some data at Mars, so this story only continues," said Jamie Favors, director for the NASA Space Weather Program in Washington.